There you go.
Hey, happy Monday. Welcome to the A Game. I'm Rob Acampora. Yeah, the number in the corner is accurate. I finally got here. Welcome to number 100, and welcome to the man who decided to show up for this, which was a great surprise in itself. Thought I was going to have him chime in from his house, but we managed to get it here. And there was a nice little delay there, Ming. And Ming Chen is in the building, too. But Brian O'Halloran, who's been busy for literally the last 2 years between filming, being on the road, promoting Clerks III, still basically now a regular in the Comic-Con circuit. And you finally have a little bit of time to yourself for the first time in quite some time.
Yeah, it's good. First of all, it's good to be back here at the Shared Universe Studios.
Absolutely.
Here in Red Bank. Ming Chen at the board, behind the camera here. But also, it's good to be back on your show. Congratulations, 100.
Yeah,
wow.
You were at number 1. You surprised the hell out of me.
And you were like, hey, we want you to be part of the 100. And I was like, sure. So this morning, I got the StreamYard link to be on the show. And I was like, oh, wait, Ming, I'm actually going to be down in Jersey at my mom's place doing some stuff for her. Why don't I just come down to Red Bank? It's only 20 minutes away. You were happily surprised. I'm glad to be here in person. It's a good way, I think, than just zooming it in.
No, I agree.
StreamYarding it in,
It's necessary sometimes to use the StreamYard, but this is definitely just even better.
Much better vibe. We've been able to catch up on a bunch of things off camera before we went live here, and so it's good. Yeah. And so just so that I get this straight here for you. So I went out and I had to get you a little something, something for 100. I mean, 100. You're turning 100.
Yeah, the podcast.
100 episodes. So this is for you.
Ooh.
Enjoy.
This feels good.
Yes.
This feels good.
I've had it on ice.
Oh, ho, ho.
And it's a brand I never heard before, but it sounded like New Jersey.
Yes. Long Branch, by the way.
Long Branch Bourbon.
Bourbon, made by the people at Wild Turkey.
And I thought, we're very close to Long Branch right here.
Yes, we are.
Would I trust any bourbon to come out of the town of Long Branch? I don't know.
Hard to say.
So there you go. Happy 100th.
Thank you.
I have some mixers if you wanna pop that open at some point.
At some point. Yeah, I think when we get to random shots, this may be baptized. And Ming, please, you have to share with us when we get to that point.
Ming, are you familiar with Long Branch bourbon at all?
Only the town of Long Branch,
that's
not
what
the bourbon.
Okay.
So yes,
yeah,
well done, sir.
Yeah,
well done.
Absolutely.
I thought it was. Let's see where it's from. It's from. I guess it's just. It says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, Oak and Texas Mesquite Charcoal Refined.
I like the fact that the small batch thing. It seems like a lot of the good whiskeys and stuff are doing it. The small batch ones are the ones that are very
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. There you go.
Very cool. Look forward to opening that up.
Yep.
Congratulations that Clerks III got out. It's had some success. It has. Ming, give photo number 4 because if you haven't seen the film yet, the film is out there. You can go on Amazon Prime and do it. You can do what I did. I watched it off of YouTube. That's where I saw the movie, and it's also available on where are we at here? DVD, and. Yeah, DVD.
Now it's weird. Now, am I allowed to talk about the movie? I don't know, man.
Well, I'm gonna tread. I think
I appreciate the love of it. Thank you so much. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Right.
And so, if you want to go out there, it was put out by Lionsgate. I know that. Who are in agreement to signing the interim agreement. So I know that.
Yeah.
So they're good people. But thank you that's what I was doing the past year and a half or so. I mean, I had my own podcast as well called The O'Halloran, which I did a season of like 15 episodes.
As a matter of fact, that is available. You have your own YouTube channel. And Ming, real quick, if we can go down, I think that's photo number 17 or the bottom photo. Yeah. This is his logo.
Right. You can find that on YouTube at The O'Halloran, and you can also find it on Twitch and also find it on Facebook. I'll be starting that up again soon.
Season 2 finally going to happen. Yeah,
finally, yeah. Now that I have, like you said, some break from being on the road, it's been nice to do that. So I'm nowhere near 100. I don't know if I probably will ever get to 100. That's a lot of talking.
But you know what? You do it well. I mean, when we did a role reversal because I was on his podcast, and I got to admit, it was a little weird because it's like he's doing my role, I'm doing his role. This is weird, but it was fun.
Yeah.
You really kept it going. That's the thing. You got the idea. You keep it moving all the time.
Yeah, there's a good friend of mine, a director, actor friend by the name of Ken Wiesinger. And Ken Wiesinger is always snapping the fingers.
Yes, that is Ken.
Like, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know, don't let things pause for too long. Same thing with streaming, I think. If you're listening to this podcast, you don't want dead air. You don't want sight gags, for that matter. But if you're on, in your car wanting to listen, that's the way you want to do it. You want to keep on going and keep on moving. You do a really good job of doing that. And so I don't think you would have gone 100 deep if you were boring to talk to, or if you were bringing up cliche questions, or bringing up things that they've been asked or talked about by a guest hundreds of times.
That's the key. You hit it on the head.
Yeah.
If I come up with the same question for these guests who are coming on, and for some, they didn't know me from a hole in the wall. So I literally knew, okay, do your homework, come up with at least one or two questions. They go, oh my God, that's a good question. Or like, wow, I didn't expect that one to happen. And you know that from doing your podcast now. If you can do that, you win the guest over, and it reflects really well. And I think the audience gets into it too. Yeah. Because now all of a sudden they're getting a tidbit they normally wouldn't get from any other kind of interview.
Right. And that's what's great about this is that you have a great partner here with Shared Universe is a great space. It's very close for you to do your podcast.
Absolutely.
You're in a great town, Red Bank, so you can pull a lot of people who can, if they can make it live to the studio, it's not that far, and they can get a great dinner here in town. I mean, come on, excuse me, Ross Brewing.
Yeah.
Supplying the beer here at the studio.
Amen to that.
That's always good. I'm doing the Raz Mellow Sour.
I got the Shrewsbury Lager. This is my standby.
Big ups to John and the boys over at Ross Brewing there in Monmouth Beach.
John's been on my podcast. We had an interesting time just talking about beers, and he's a big supporter of all these microbreweries that are popping up in New Jersey, in New York, and around the area.
Yeah.
And obviously he wants to sell his, but he's very supportive of others, which I think is a great thing about John.
Speaking of popping up, I have someone who wants to pop up and say hello, perhaps. And you know what? Maybe if you could do the first one, that'd be great.
Good evening, Mr. Acampora. I come to you from my inner sanctum in the bowels of New Jersey to congratulate you on your 100th episode. You never thought you'd get here. You told me it over and over again. But it took Brian O'Halloran coming all the way down to celebrate your milestone. Congratulations on 100, and here's to 100 more, if your heart can take it.
Horace is our good friend, Mr. Bob Sankiewicz. He was on your show numerous times.
Yeah, he's
also known as Nostrababis.
He's been on this podcast 4 times, as a matter of fact. Yeah,
there you go.
We've talked sports. We've talked holiday Christmas movies. He's great to have on occasion. He actually was in with Bill Timoney the last time. It was a surprise for Bill. And that's going to segue into something I wanted to bring up, because you actually just did a short film, Ming. I think it's photo 16. And it's an interesting concept you guys did. So there's Bob Sankiewicz, who's in this. Brian is in this, and Bill Timoney, an alumni of Soap Operas Past. And Initiative is this short film that has its basis in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Anybody plays D&D, when a conflict happens, you take dice and you what's called roll for initiative. Who can get to act first? It's based on your characteristics and stuff like that, and so you roll for initiative.
Yeah.
So this was a short film that Bob has had the idea for quite a while.
Right.
He had talked to me about doing it. And I was like, yeah, man, if you want to do it, by all means, let's do it. So a couple of years went by. He wrote it. He had like table reads with other actor friends of ours, tweaked it a bit here and there, and then finally got the money together to actually do a full production of it. Did a really great production, and the production company put it together, did a great job of filming it, editing it. Bob stepped in as well with his opinions on edits. There was some great art direction. And we had fun with it. It's a really great. It's like 22, 23 minutes long. And it's a kind of a blend between reality and in-game kind of things, where the dungeon master is having issues with the players, and the players are trying to solve the mission in the game. But could it be reality? Could it be a dream?
Yeah, and if you get the chance to see this, that's the thing you get sucked into. You're not sure what's real and what's not.
Right.
And it's set up beautifully. I know it just got entered into Grand Rapids Con, and it's doing the circuit, let's say, of independent short films. So hopefully we'll see it out and about a little bit more.
Yeah, it's gone to a couple of film festivals. I told Bob about, there's a lot of Comic-Cons that also do film festivals as well. We did, funny enough, we entered it into Kevin's film festival and did not make it. Did not make it into the
Damn it, Kevin,
yes,
what the hell?
It's just, I think it's the people, it's the board. They didn't realize who was in it, or maybe they would be accused of favoritism. Who knows? But that's going on next week, by the way, if you want to come out to the Smodcastle for their film festival.
Yeah.
It's coming out on the 12th. I think it opens up.
There's an interesting, another connection with this short film. Bill Timoney was your stand-in during Clerks 3, was he not?
He was, yes. He was my body double, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He was my camera stand-in as well, which is really great. So it's always good to see when people come in that you've worked with before, and then you get to be part of the same kind of big deal, so to speak.
I am treading cautiously on what I can or can't ask. Well, this is the one that stands out for me. There's two things. One, there were numerous attempts to do Clerks 3.
Correct.
When you read this version that became the movie, what was your first reaction when you finished reading it?
Of the first draft of the movie?
Yeah, of the movie that came out.
Of the movie that came out.
Yeah.
When I first, because there was the 9 years ago kind of darker version of a Clerks 3, which if you're coming to the View Askew cruise, the Cruise Askew, in February, we'll be doing a table read of that specific script.
Yeah, go ahead, Ming. Put it up there so people can know.
Yeah.
The tickets are still available for the cruise is going on in February of 24. And you've done one of these before, haven't you?
Yeah, we did it. We did as a fundraiser for the First Avenue Playhouse in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, where we literally had the auditions of the original Clerks.
Right.
We went back to there when we were shooting Clerks 3 to reenact that audition scene yet again in Clerks 3 for that theater. So we were able to do two table reads of that darker script as a fundraiser to raise money for the theater because they needed roof repair, but also new lighting equipment and stuff like that. So I think we were able to raise like $30,000 for them.
That's great.
And the fans are really cool. We kind of swore them to secrecy. Please don't tell anybody what happens in this version of the script because we're thinking of maybe either coming out with a like a graphic novel of it or maybe even an animated series of it. Who knows? But I know Kevin has plans to do something else with it. In the meantime, it's one of the things that can be seen on this gigantic schedule that they have in the 4 days that we're going to be on that ship. I know I'm hosting a pub crawl. I heard there's 4 pubs on board the ship.
Nice.
So that's going to be there. There's also going to be, I'll be hosting the O'Halloran there as in front of a live audience. So I'm already working on what I want to have on that. I know Jeff Anderson will be DJing a party.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Now, you saw that because he always wanted to step in on your gig at HTG back in the day.
There's a funny story there if we can go off on a tangent. Ming, give me photo number 6. And this was probably the third time you're at the station, but this time Jeff is there. What happened was Brian and Jeff wound up playing guest DJs while they were there. And I know you were having fun, but Jeff was just like, you can tell he's in his glory.
Yeah.
There is a part of him that always wanted to do that.
Yep.
You can tell.
So we're giving him a shipload of people to do it in front of.
Nice.
So he'll be the new who's the big DJ guy these days at the massive parties?
Ooh, well, again, if it was an oldies party, God bless him.
Like
Jerry
a Steve Aoki or
right.
There you go.
Or is he going to be a Shaquille O'Neal? That's the thing.
Hey,
Shaquille O'Neal's pretty good.
Yes, that's what I've seen him in action. He's damn good.
Yeah, so I look forward to that. There's going to be a wine tasting with Trevor Furman and his wife.
Oh, that's
and his wife, Mallrats fans will know as Trish the Dish.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Oh my God,
she actually works in the wine industry. That's Renee Humphreys.
Yeah,
she works in the wine industry. So they're going to do a wine tasting while we're there. And then there's tons of podcasts. There's going to be Batman Beyond. There's going to be Edumacation, Plus One, which is the one with Kevin's wife. And then there's a couple of others. There's the Ralph Report, but also Hollywood Babylon and many other things. We're going to do a Clerks 3 script reading, like we said. We're going to do the next movie that Kevin wants to do after 4:30 movie is Mallrats 2. So allegedly we're going to be reading Twilight of the Mallrats script as well. Anyway, go to the website, cruiseaskew.com.
There you go.
Click on schedule. You'll see the whole thing. Like, I don't know how I'm going to have time to do anything, to be honest.
Right. So we know it's you and Jeff. We know it's Trevor. I mean, since you mentioned Mallrats, will we see maybe some of the, like a Jeremy London or a Jason Lee possibly being on the cruise as well?
Well, we have Jason Lee and we have Ethan Suplee as of right now.
And let me tell you something. Ethan looks sick.
Oh, he's jacked, bro.
He's beyond
He is
jacked,
totally
yeah.
jacked.
Oh.
He would definitely, if American History X was being made today, he probably would be the main character. Like, he would be the Norton character in this one because he's so super jacked.
Yeah.
Really great guy too. Like, super duper nice guy. So yeah, they'll be on board as well. It'll be a lot of fun. Once again, we just added Soul Asylum. As
that's
one of the
fantastic.
bands.
Yeah, you had to. How could you not?
We have Mega Ran on there, tons of other really great bands. We have some stand-up comedy going on as well, so that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're free the end of February, you want to go from Miami to the Bahamas with us knuckleheads, by all means, rooms are still available. Get your rooms now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's on the Norwegian cruise line, and the ship is the Pearl.
I gotta say, you're getting a lot for your money with that. That's really a good price. And it was at 4 days. It's 4 days, right?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
days.
Yeah.
And you spend one of the days in Nassau, Bahamas. So yeah.
Brian O'Halloran's here on my 100th episode of the A Game. There is one other thing I got to say about Clerks 3 after seeing it, and I waited till this moment to say, damn you, why did you make me cry?
Why?
Yeah,
I know. That's right. I had
and I'm sure you're getting a lot of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had an endorsement deal with Kleenex tissues. No. It's something where I think Kevin's been trying to do since 1993, the original ending of Dante.
Right.
Who gets shot at the convenience store. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Gets shot at the convenience store, if you haven't seen the original Clerks.
Right.
But that was thankfully removed when it finally went to mass release, thanks to John Pearson, who said, was like, you can't have that ending. That's the worst ending ever. So every year I give John Pearson a gift basket.
Nice.
And no, I'm kidding. I don't.
You don't? All
I'm
right.
too cheap. I would never do that.
No, you're not cheap, baby.
And so since then, by the time we got to this third movie, I thought, well, if it's good enough for Han Solo, Tony Stark, and Wolverine, it's good enough for Dante Hicks. I
Amen.
thought. I didn't save the universe like a Tony Stark. I wasn't betrayed by my own son like Han Solo.
Right.
And Wolverine did not save a whole bunch of young mutants from being experimented on. But I think in his own right, Dante just lived what every other older gentleman in their mid-50s may actually confront, which is heart disease.
Right. But it's interesting because I'm sure when you read that, you were like, he's finally going to get me on this, but there was no apprehension. It was just more like, you know what? This does work in a weird way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I finally got that script and got to that part, and read that last kind of confrontation between him and Randall, I knew that this is going to be the crux of everything that's ever happened before in Dante Hicks' life and career in these movies. So I did what I should have been doing from the very jump of the very first movie. Is I put in a really good amount of work into this script. And so when it came to the end, I'm like, well, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go big. I'm going to go home. So I decided to go big.
Yeah, and it worked. It worked incredibly.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's interesting is that you see the progression just not only in the acting, which I don't think, and again, Kevin, if you're watching this, this is just my opinion. The actors, as somebody who interviewed him and Marilyn Gigliotti, one of the first interviews you ever did on Clerks, I'll get to that in a second, I always felt that the acting never got enough credit. Kevin deserves a lot of credit for the writing, but the acting, you still got to be able to act the words and make it work. So as I look at the progression from Clerks to Clerks 2 to Clerks 3, it's like, Brian has hit his stride as an actor right here, without a doubt, And it's interesting you say that. You really dove yourself into this and you've learned from the past in the sense it's like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and we're going to go full throttle. I'm going to go forward completely.
Well, I mean, the work deserved the work. The work that Kevin put into the script deserved the work and the respect of diving into it the way I did. So it's been a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, hey Ming, I think I have another guest waiting to say hello to our good friend here.
Why am I feel like I've...
Congratulations to Rob, the bald guy, the guy who I always take money from at poker, But thanks for having us. B game, A game, D-listers. whatever you want to call it, on your show. Congrats on your 100th episode. Hope to see you on 200.
Ernie O'Donnell.
There you go, Ernie O'Donnell.
He's been on the show, and obviously we'll talk about it on our own in a second, but I do take offense. Yes, you did take my money the last 2 times, but remember, when I got indoctrinated into that world of poker, who finished second place and took your money and took Zapsik's money? Not that I want to go there, but...
Well, there's also there was the last big poker outing that a bunch of friends of ours, comedian Chris Covert hosts from time to time.
Yeah, we appreciate Chris doing that.
And the last big thing that we had a couple of years ago, I took it all.
Yes, you did.
I took it all. So I got a big belt and everything to prove it.
So this is how obsessive we get over poker. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Crazy. So Ernie O'Donnell, a great guy. Yeah. I reached out to a bunch of people, and he was like, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
and since we bring up Ernie, it's a perfect segue. Ming, if you can put the photo for On Our Own, because this is on Amazon Prime. The first season was 6 episodes, got great response. I'm hearing there is a season 2 coming. And in this comedy, you put the Irish accent on beyond, and you play the owner of the bar who takes the 2 guys who are suddenly, parents have gone to Florida, and you're offering the apartment over the bar, and the rest just kind of goes where life takes it at times.
Yeah, so Ernie O'Donnell and his producing and writing partner, Troy Burbank.
Troy, who's been on the podcast too.
Yep, they've been on the podcast as well. Decided to do a sitcom. Normally they're doing like horror films or straight up big time comedies.
Right.
Decided to do a sitcom format, and they wanted to do this 2 guys whose parents, who've been living with their parents till they're 40, and the parents finally are moving from Jersey down to Florida, and they're like, you're not coming with us, you're on your own. And thus the title.
Yeah.
So Troy plays one of the sons, and it's a great group of guys. We shoot it here in the Jersey Shore, in the Highlands, New Atlantic Highlands, and all over Monmouth County, actually. And so we have our first 6 episodes are up on Amazon Prime Video. And yes, I got to play. I was playing a bar owner.
Yeah.
And every time they were thinking about casting the bar owner, Ernie would step in. He's like, Troy, you got to put O'Halloran in this. And to be honest with you got to have O'Halloran do his Irish accent. He's hilarious when he does his Irish accent.
It's true.
So he was like, look, we want you to do this part. We want you to put on that Irish accent. And I'm like, the one I really just, fuck around about with? Yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, all right. So I play this character named Barry, who's the bar owner. And I come in just heavy hitting on the really, really, really stereotypical Irish accent. It's not authentic. It's just typical kind of like, haha, comedy, Americans' way of understanding an Irish accent. So we did it. We shot it over like about an 8-week, 10-week period. Scott Schaffo makes an appearance in it. We had Keith Coogan come in.
Yeah, he did.
Angel Marsalis from
funny comedian.
Scarface,
yes.
And a few others. And so it's a really fun ride. 28-minute episodes. We're hoping to do a season 2. I know he's gearing up for his next film, his next feature film. So once that's done, perhaps by the summer of next year, we start that up again.
Fantastic. And when you do watch it, I don't think this works for Brian unless you do. In a sense, it is sort of, you're parodying. Doing a parody.
It pretty much is. Yeah. It's sitcom-y kind of Irish. It's not. Yeah. This is not My Left Foot kind of kind of acting.
This is not Daniel Day-Lewis doing My Left Foot. But you get the comedy. That's the thing. You really get what you're doing. It's sort of like you're laughing along with you.
Yeah, it's insulting to the Irish culture, but for me, I can do it because I am it.
Yeah, he's O'Halloran. What do you want?
What am I going to do?
Exactly. Brian O'Halloran here on the A Game. I mentioned it, how we met. Ming, I think the photo, the little house on the prairie, I think is 11. I think I could be wrong. There it is. It was this house on Hope Road in Eatontown where Brian and I first met, and I mentioned the first interview back in the day, and it still rings in my head when you came in, just you and Marilyn kind of looking around and kind of going, all right, so this is 106.3. I know you're familiar with the station.
Absolutely.
Right. And I'm sure there was that vibe. I didn't realize it was this.
Personally, I didn't realize you could have a radio station inside of a house down the end of a dirt road.
Yes.
Like, that was the thing. Like, they produce out of this house?
Yeah.
It was so weird. Like, you think of radio stations in New York City, you're going into an office building.
Right.
You're going into Sirius XM or whatever. It's a huge kind of a building. never thinking that, oh no, you could do it outside of a house and then have, I don't know, what was the wattage, what was the power of that tower behind the house?
I think it was like 3,000 to 4,000 watts.
Yeah, and the back of the house has this gigantic tower outside of it. And so, but it was funny. You'd walk in the front door, and where would normally be a dining room was like reception.
You got it, exactly.
And then all the bedrooms were divided into studios, and then the kitchen was your break room, and there was a bathroom, like 2 bathrooms, where one of the studios had a bathroom right inside of it, like a master bathroom would be. So it was that kind of fun kind of thing, but you guys got the best, alternative and rock guests through that building and through those doors. I mean, the fact that was the home of Matt Pinfield and yourself and some, Rich Robinson and all these really great people that came out of that building, Michelle Amabile, and more was amazing. So that picture of us, the 3 of us together, I really enjoyed it. I became friends, obviously, with you, but the other people in that building as well, because I did listen. That was the station that I always had on. Every once in a while, you'd switch over to 92.3 K-Rock after Howard or whatever, and maybe listen to them for a while. PLJ when it was still around, Z100, but that was pop top 40. After that, if you went north of Central Jersey, you might get WLIR out there,
exactly.
Which was when I lived in Northern Jersey, that was the station we listened to, was out there. We could get, because we lived on a high hill in Palisade Park, but yeah, good times.
There was one moment where I kind of realized, okay, so I'm getting to become friends with Brian, and you and Marilyn came out during our Christmas show the one year. And so Clerks had been out for a few months. You go up on stage, we introduce you guys. The place went bananas. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, this is for real. Even if it's just here, Clerks is a phenomenon. And, you saw what the crowd did. It was just like, they were just, oh my God!
It was fun. And now that those same folks who were like, high on weed and drunk on tequila are now have like grandkids who now they're showing from their kids who are now in their 20s, if not older 20s, are now showing it to their kids, and it's weird. It's now weird.
I was about
seeing
to ask
that crowd.
you how do you digest that?
It is. It's weird when they then send their kids up to me to go, "Are you even supposed to be here today?" I'm like, "How do you know that movie?
Man.
Where's your parents?" They're like right there. I'm like, "Oh, all right, that makes sense."
When you've had this one character that is going to be forever remembered. I mean, you could do other things in your career, but to a sect of people.
By the way, I have done other things.
He has done other things. He's done some very interesting things, as a matter of fact. But they say with acting, sometimes having that one memorable character makes you a success, but you still want to do more good work. But, But is there a feeling when you sit back, maybe later on in life, and you look back and kind of go, yeah, it wasn't a bad thing having Dante be a part of my life?
Oh, no. I mean, I know every day that I'm truly blessed for having one role that is ingrained into, first of all, into the U.S. government, because it's in the Library of Congress. So when, if by some reason the world catches on fire and war really breaks out everywhere, that's going to be in the bunker of the Congress of a movie to choose from. Citizen Kane, Clerks. Yes, let's put that down instead. I hear Matt Gaetz is a big fan of it. Anyway, no, kidding. He doesn't know about our movies. No, seriously, it's that kind of thing where I think I'll always be blessed the fact that there is one role that I will always be known for, and it's great. I know even in my real life tombstone, I will have, he's not even supposed to be here today, just as a goof. But it's the type of thing that millions and thousands of actors out there, wish they would work their ass off and they bust their ass, and they're much more talented than I am and much more aggressive than I am, that don't get these kind of opportunities. I was very fortunate to get the opportunity. We all were very fortunate that, this writer with this black and white film from the middle of a town in New Jersey, that even when you tell people it's near, you have to go, it's near Sandy Hook, because they don't know where Atlantic Highlands is, or they don't know Middletown. I don't know. Is that New York? Like you try to, Sandy Hook.
Yeah, there you go.
And they go, oh yeah. Like, well, we're a couple of towns in from there on Route 36 is the quick stop, but the quick stop's 2 blocks in, so you can't quite see it from the highway. Like trying to even explain that. So, because when you say Red Bank, people will have heard of Red Bank, but technically that's not where the film was shot. It's where Kevin's store is. It's where we are today. It's that type of thing. But It's that type of notoriety that I'm very blessed, and I will never take it for granted. I will never be like, fuck this Dante character. I'm moving on.
It's funny because you see that when you're out on these cons, you embrace it, and not that I'm want anybody to be called out on, but you got to figure. If you're out on the con, you're there because you want to be there. You want to meet the audience. Of course, you want to make a little bit of money. But if you don't come in with the right attitude, I would think the audience would just be repelled by it. You know what I'm saying?
As I do these conventions, there are certain talent that comes in there, not in the greatest of moods. And the word gets around that person's a grump or that person's just, wow, never meet your heroes kind of things get being said.
Sure.
I go because, I'm a fan of other people first. So I go there going like, oh, shoot, I'm going to get to meet so-and-so at this one. I didn't realize that. Or there's cool events. I know me and Ming, when we're on the road, we have a blast. I know Ming's going to know where we winding up tonight. We're going to wind up at some sort of bar, some sort of dive bar, or some sort of hot yoga that turns into this, band that opens up the curtain, and it's a Chinese food restaurant as well, kind of weirdness. Because I like to travel, too. I do like seeing new cities, new towns, because that's the real America, not the flyover America, where it's New York to L.A. or Chicago to Dallas. There's a lot in between when it comes to these shows. And I've been fortunate enough to do conventions in England. I've been fortunate enough to do conventions in Australia, New Zealand. So I've been very, very blessed in that sense. And every time, I don't go in with this again. It's never a job to me. It's I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah.
To steal one from Bilbo Baggins. It's that kind of feel that I enjoy doing them.
Yeah. Ming, if I can bring you in for 1 second, because it made me think about the one adventure we talked about, and it's one of the more unique ones. You were in Houston, the one bar that had a dodgeball court in it, if I remember correctly?
That's correct. Every Friday night, it's 9:30, open dodgeball.
Wow.
Open.
Crazy.
For anybody who wants to play. So
wait,
great.
But not in the bar while you're holding drinks.
They have a recessed area. They usually use it for indoor soccer, but it's great for indoor dodgeball as well.
Wow. Yeah. Talk about taking out your frustrations at a bar.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
I bet you the police totally, approve of this because we're keeping it indoors as opposed to out on the streets.
You know what? Let them settle it there. We'll be fine.
Wow. What city is that in?
Houston.
As in Houston, Texas, my friend. I'm trying to remember the name.
I gotta go to that one.
Yeah, I think you do.
It's called something 23. But well, I'll take you there. Well, whether you want to play or not. You know what? Why not?
See,
why not?
If I were there, I'd play.
Let's go.
I was always a big fan of catching the ball, then holding the ball if there's multiple balls. Especially. Right. Although that just sounded dirtier.
It did.
To using that ball to deflect other throws.
Yes.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting. Speaking of interesting, I think I have another guest who wants to say
another
congratulations.
One.
Yeah.
I think I may have to get ready to open up the bottle, but go ahead.
No, let's do our.
Hey, Rob Acampora, you maniac. Happy 100th episode. Oh, my gosh. 100 episodes. That's insane. You're an institution. Or maybe you should be institutionalized. Anyway, it's your good buddy, actor, musician, Scott Schiaffo, saying congrats on 100th episode. That's amazing.
Wow.
Schiaffo's a great man.
Chuli's gum guy himself.
The Chuli's gum guy.
Which, when we did the third movie, Kevin's take on the actor part of it, I thought was brilliant because it's not far off the real actor Scott himself. Method!
And it is a funny scene. I don't want to give too much away because if I give away the punchline, I don't want to.
No, of course not.
When you go watch, if you haven't seen Clerks 3, that scene with Schiaffo, it's a small scene, but man, he killed it. He absolutely killed it. We're getting ready for random shots. Ming, I know we got a lot of comments. Let's pull them up while I'm getting ready to do random shots here and see who's been chiming in.
Hey, CJ Cullen.
Hey, Mr. Cullen, how are you? Yep, no quick stop beer for us tonight.
It's in the fridge getting cold, CJ. It was sitting outside. It wasn't in the fridge. We have it sitting in there, so hopefully, but we can finish with it.
Absolutely.
Mr. Dave Madison.
Hello. Yeah, good friend of yours up in your neck of the woods on the poker.
Yes, he has a new film coming out as well.
Oh, cool.
It's a Wolfman kind of movie, so I'm trying to think of the name of it again.
While you're looking that up, Dave, yeah, I know I owe you one on my podcast. I didn't have you on when you did Wits End, so I definitely owe you one on that. As a matter of fact, since I'm mentioning Dave, Ming, go to the photos because I'll pull up Madison because he's got one of my fun memories when we were at the ballpark. So if we can scroll down a little bit. I know it's there. I know it's got to be there.
And his movie is Full Moon Fever.
There we go. We stalled long enough. I
There
love
you go.
it.
Full Moon Fever. As a matter of fact, he's having a world premiere next week at the Pocono Cinemas in Stroudsburg. Go to the Pocono Cinemas in Stroudsburg to get your tickets.
Very good. And there it is.
What's
That's
it?
the one.
Oh, there you go, Mets.
I think that was the last time we were actually in a Met game together, too.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time the Mets were worth watching, too.
Yeah.
I'm
last,
kidding. I
last
kid.
season was, we didn't get to the game, unfortunately. Just one of those.
Wow. Just last season was, this is going to be the year. And then the kick to the nuts that is a Mets fan.
Yeah. Look, we know pain and suffering.
Listen, it started, I don't have football this year. I don't care what people saw yesterday. The Jets do not go far. Listen, I'm a Jet fan. Yeah. I'm a diehard Jet fan. I saw the Jets when they played at Shea Stadium. That's how much of a Jet fan I am. And even I know there's nothing in the world that's going to get this team. Now, you guys could be playing this back in like 10 weekends and going like, see, we did it, O'Halloran. We won the AFC Championship. We're going to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, still one more game. That's how bad my attitude right now is about the Jets. So.
When I wrote this down as one of my questions, is like, okay, who's more disappointing? The Jets, the Mets, or the Rangers? Which is an interesting question.
Well, it had to be the Mets, just because the Rangers did really great last season. And I know I'm talking while Ming is in the room with his Devil's gear around him. But at the same time, the fall from grace wasn't as epic as the Mets were.
Right.
Where even all sports fans were just like, this is an epic fail.
Thank you.
This is a complete and utter fail.
I think it's just hard as a Rangers fan because we've been waiting so long. We figured after 94 we would see one more, at least one more. But no.
All right, I'm going to take a sip of this straight.
Right.
Once again, for those joining us late, I gifted Rob for this for his 100th Long Branch bourbon from the people of Wild Turkey, only because it sounds like the Jersey town Long Branch. So I was like, well, I got to do something Jersey-like. So Ming does these open box streams. Yeah. We're doing open bottle streams.
Open bottle
streams. Let's see what this is.
Bravo.
Ooh, that's nice and smooth.
Yeah, that's very smooth.
Very oaky.
I like that.
I like it a lot.
Ming, this is right up your alley. I know you a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, you had me try. What did I try? I forgot the name of that, by the way.
Basil Hayden's, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Ice. Basil Hayden's. Ice, yes.
I brought some ice. That's right. I come prepared, people.
Oh, man.
Not only do I gift people things.
He thought of everything. Guests.
Would you like to make it into a mule? Because I brought ginger beer.
Let's do it. Come on, we got to do this right.
Yes.
So I'll put a little bit more in here, and I'll make that a mule. And while you're doing that,
now everybody's outside like, where's my mule?
Yeah, exactly.
You have time right now. Get up. Go over. We'll wait for you.
We'll wait for you. I'll just explain it after 100 episodes. Random shots are just basically questions that come from nowhere. I know Brian pretty well, so we'll hit a lot of things in this.
Ming, would you like some ginger beer for yours?
I'm good. I'm going to drink this straight.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're the man.
Hardcore. I like it. Hardcore.
He is. Okay, Brian, I'm going to start with one question, and we'll go back to Clerks 3 one more time.
Sure.
There was one scene in Clerks 3. There were many celebrities that came out for the auditions that were done in Highlands. Just to rattle off a few of the people that stopped in: Danny Trejo, the guys from Impractical Jokers, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, some of the SNL alum like Fred Armstead, Bobby Moynihan. You had Ben Affleck. Out of all of them, and there were a lot of funny ones, was there a favorite that you saw during those trials that you went, yeah, I'm not going to forget that one anytime soon?
Joe Gatto.
Yeah.
Joe Gatto, I think, did the longest out of all of them. And only just because the character was like, I'm recently divorced. And he had this nervous kind of delivery that was unique to everybody else. I mean, Sal was great. Well, listen, fucking, like everything there he said was hilarious. Yeah. And don't forget Murr. Murr was hilarious and as well. And then Quinn. Q was awesome. Everybody was really, really great. I enjoyed Trejo at the end.
That was the one I thought who stole it.
I did the tour with Kevin. We did 52 screenings, 48 cities. And I went to 12 of the major cities to do the screenings. And the Trejo always got a huge laugh. And also the Ethan Suplee one.
Oh, yeah, because
he screams it like a sailboat, like from Mallrats.
Which is the role he's known for.
Right. Yeah. And so that is another one that got, from the audience, from our perspective, being behind the stage of the screen while listening to it.
Sure.
That got a huge response. So that one, I got to say, my personal chuckle was always Joe Gatto.
Can't argue that. Random shots of Brian O'Halloran.
Speaking of which, cheers.
Cheers to that. Absolutely. Thank you, Ming. That's a good meal. That's good.
Ooh, that's so good.
Yeah. This is one you probably know the answer to, but it'll make you think a little bit. How many members of the movie The Breakfast Club have you been in the same movie with?
I guess 2. I can't, because I don't remember if Estevez was ever in a movie I was in.
Well,
or was he?
Nah, well, think about it for a second. Give me the 2 that you think that stand out.
Well, definitely Anthony Michael Hall
because of Clerks III, right?
And then I did a movie with, why am I losing her name? Because of the bourbon.
The bourbon.
Ali Sheedy.
Right.
So we did Junior Defenders with Ali Sheedy.
Find the movie, because this was ahead of its time. If they were to try to do this movie now, it would actually work incredibly.
It's a fake documentary about a kids show in the 70s that has a huge cliffhanger episode, which was a big thing to have in the 70s.
Right.
You know, if you ever watch Dallas, Who Shot JR was the big cliffhanger episode, and you had to wait a whole summer and a half almost to get to the next episode. Mm-hmm. And what happens is this big kids show gets canceled in their big cliffhanger episodes. And so years go by, and these kid actors are now older.
Right.
And these 2 fans, because the original name of the movie was called Groupies.
Yes.
These 2 groupies then go and kidnap the now adults to finish the cliffhanger episode that they wrote.
Right.
So Ali Sheedy played one of the younger kids who then is the adult actress. And myself and Justin Henry, a bunch of people are in that film. And it's a fake documentary. So it's a mockumentary that was narrated. The original narrator was Anthony Daniels.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And then it took 10 years for that film to get finished.
That I realized.
Post, because they had audio issues. One of the audio masters burned up in a fire, and they had to find duplicates. So to replace the audio and everything that we had to do, we moved up even another step. You think Anthony Daniels is a great narrator of a movie.
Absolutely.
And then we moved up to John Waters. So it was super duper awesome. Kevin makes a cameo as Kevin. Florence Henderson's it. Pauly Shore's in it. Like, it's a really fun mockumentary in the same vein of the Best in Show and the Waiting for Guffman kind of vibe.
Oh, absolutely. And
Spinal Tap, that type of thing.
Best cameo, a former presidential nominee.
Yeah.
Check it out when you get a chance. It's worth the time. By the way, there's 3. The one you're forgetting was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and you had an appearance in Muse's movie Madison the Method. So did this guy, Judd Nelson.
Oh, that's right. Wow, that is like 3 degrees of separation or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's right. It's so funny. Judd Nelson, I forget what movie it was, where he had the goatee at one point. There was 2 times where people had goatee.
Oh, like New Jack City.
City, that's right. It was New Jack City that, and then Charlie Sheen in The Arrival, he was one that alien movie where he had a goatee, where people were like, oh my God, that looks just like you. And it's funny because in the New York Times review of Clerks, they said that Brian O'Halloran, a dude who looked like Charlie Sheen, beaten with a geek stick.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's the New York Times. I take it as a compliment, my friend.
That's a good way of looking at it. A very good way of looking at it. You know what? I'm surprised I've never asked you this question in the many times I've interviewed you. What's your connection to Pokemon?
Pokemon. I've done a couple of voiceover characters for Pokemon. Pokemon obviously originated in Japan. Yeah. Originally airs in Japan in Japanese. But when it comes over to America, there's an American production company that does all the overdubbing of it. So I was friends with a guy named Tom Whalen, who was the director, the voice casting director and director of all the Pokemon properties. So myself, Bob Senkowitz
was very involved.
I also think Bill Timoney has also voiced a couple of characters
in it. I believe so,
because we all know Tom. And we did it over at Soundhound, or I forget Sound One, I forget it was, over in New York City, this recording studio. And so I would come in and do random characters for the movies mostly. I never did any of the TV shows. I may have done 1 or 2, but for the most part, I do characters for the Pokemon movies. So there are people who see that on my resume and they're like, Pokemon? I'm like, I did a couple of the voices. I also done a couple of anime movies as well, Joe versus Joe and a few others, where I played like a fight announcer. Well, there's a...
I did see that, yeah. I mean, is that a little more difficult when you're kind of, you know what an actor is, but you're also, like, you got to act and understand that you're a cartoon character. Does the process change, or is it still, you got to attack it the same way as you would a regular acting role?
Well, when they first of all, they tried to explain to me what was going on in Pokemon. I'm like, don't try to explain Pokemon to me. It sounds like it's really a kettle of fish that I don't want to deep into. What's going on with this character that I'm voicing at this moment?
Right.
When it came to, the same guy then had another associate who casted and overdubbed Turkish television shows that were produced in Turkey, but were being shown by, there was a network here called Ebru Network, EBRU, and it was a Turkish channel, satellite channel for English, for listening to Turkish shows in English.
Okay.
They were based out of Somerset, New Jersey. And I used to go in and do a lot of overdubbing for them. And they had like their version of Touched by an Angel and their version of so many different shows that work. You could tell like, oh, this is a watered down version of this American show kind of
I
thing.
get you.
And so I did a lot of that where you literally are matching the mouth flaps, because that's the thing about overdubbing is you're matching the mouth flaps of the person on screen, especially if it's a real person.
Right.
Cartoons, you can kind of fudge it because they can kind of fudge the in editing.
You can see that sometimes,
But
if
you
watch
can't,
carefully.
but you can't do that with real like overdubbing. And so sometimes the translator who translated the script, it doesn't really quite match the overdubbing of the mouth flaps. So you would have some kind of like, well, what if we said this instead kind of a thing, just to get the point across. As long as the inflection was there, it made more than the actual words of stuff like that. So that was always interesting to do. So I always enjoy voiceover work. Dubbing is tougher, obviously, because you're matching something.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can get back to it. I mean, I know I bother Kevin like crazy to bring back things. And one of the things I'm begging him to bring back is actually the cartoon series.
Oh, God. The cartoon. ABC, I don't know what. The cartoon was brilliant. It really, really was. And maybe we'll go back to something I said before. Probably ahead of its time.
It was. No, it was definitely ahead of its time, kind of like The Critic was ahead of its time. And so hopefully, Kevin can do an animated series. He has the rights to do an animated series anytime he wants. He just can't do it exactly in the same art style that the Disney-produced one is. Okay. He can't use some of the characters that the Disney-produced one has. But we'll see. I mean, if we were to go to use that exact show, we'd have to go through Hulu.
Okay.
Hulu owned by the Disney company. Now, Hulu has Justin Roiland's company doing a lot of the shows for them.
Right.
This is before Justin had his issues that had been going on in the past couple of years, a couple of months or so. So maybe we can reapproach them like, listen, how would you like to have some dudes who would never do things, whatever, to come in and step in and do some shows. We'd love to do it. I mean, we had Dave Mandel, who was the showrunner for Veep, who was the showrunner of the White House Plumbers, who's done tons of stuff. He has an amazing podcast about props himself online. That's amazing. Really funny character. Kevin did a majority of the writing as well. So we had at least 12 more episodes in the can, ready to go if we needed to go. So it would have been fun to do that again. I definitely would love it. Speaking of loving, I have someone else who would love
another one
to say hello to you and congratulate you. So, Ming,
100. It's kind of hard to get the same tone out of that as you do is with 37. But congratulations on your 100th episode. We all know how difficult this business of entertainment can be. So when there are any kind of milestones, big or small, we know we have to celebrate them in some way, shape, or form. And so congratulations on your 100th episode. I don't know how many episodes you had going in already when we all first met back in 94 when you first interviewed us for Clerks. But may you have many, many more episodes coming up, and grateful to still know the amazing person that you are. So, happy 100th, and to 100 more, and beyond.
There you go.
Cheers, Marilyn Gigliotti. God love her.
I don't know if she's not feeling too good, but I'm loving that voice.
Yeah, the sniffle, I'm like, it works.
No, that deep kind
of. The deep, yeah.
Yeah. It was, Marilyn, I hope you're feeling better. If you are sick, you have the sniffles there. But I like the black and white, and it's weird. I never thought it would snow in L.A.
Yeah, I would have thought. I mean...
Oh, it's the magic around her. That's what that is. It's good to see that she was like another one who was like, absolutely.
Oh, she was immediate. I mean, one of my first guests. We've been trying to do it a second time. We're definitely going to get to do that at some point. But she didn't even hesitate. God bless her. She was just like, when do you want me? When do you want to do it? The irony of that episode, it came in at, I can't believe I'm saying this, 37 minutes.
No!
It did.
No!
Christian Cordes was behind the board. I think we missed 37 minutes, 37 seconds by about 8 seconds. We almost had 37.
You didn't give her a full hour? How dare you?
No, it's just one of those things that only went 37 minutes. I'm sorry. Kind of a weird coincidence. All right, 2 more here on Random Shots, and I'm going to use photo number 9, I believe, Ming, and it is from On Our Own, but it has a double meaning to me. Yes. As somebody who has played poker with this man many times, to the point of, well, let's just say our little group of poker players were obsessed for about
it was weird.
Yeah.
We probably could have used that dodgeball room at that bar.
Oh my God!
That's how bad it got at one time.
It was,
and one of your previous guests as well, Bob Senkowitz, will testify to that.
Oh, absolutely. But I think the poker players and all of us, and I think I know the answer to this, but is playing the main event of the World Series of Poker a bucket list item for you?
Oof. Not so much as it is for Bob. Bob Senkowitz that's definitely
no doubt.
He's gone to a couple of events when he's been out to Vegas and Atlantic City for that matter. He's a much better player than I am. I'm going to say it on recorded video here, Bob. You can probably play it back. Have it as your ringtone. I don't care. But he is. He's a much more patient player than I am. I'm not as patient like that. That's just me in life in general. I just don't have the patience. But if it would happen, it'd be great. I remember I did a charity event when Clerks, the 10-year anniversary DVD was coming out. Miramax and those people, they put together a big event out in Vegas because it was also the anniversary edition of Rounders.
Oh, wow.
So Ben Affleck and then a whole bunch of real big-time poker players before that real boom really hit.
Okay.
It was like literally just within months of Moneymaker making his winnings.
Okay, so we know the timeline. Yeah, about 2001, 2002.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the 10-year anniversary would be 2003. So it was around that time.
Yeah.
And so we had a charity event for a charity that Ben Affleck was involved in, and I got to play like against Miami John and Phil Hellmuth and a few others, and that feeling, that absolutely panicked feeling of not making a mistake in front of real, like this is the real pros,
right.
Really shot through me. Now, obviously, I'm a much older person now, much more mature in my game as well. And I won the Chris Covert Open a couple of years ago.
Yes, he
did.
No,
I'm just kidding. So take that, Hellmuth. That's one you will never get. No, it's that type of thing that you'll never be invited. So don't even try.
Not going to happen, Phil.
But it's a bunch of things where I think to know a person is to play them in poker. I think.
I agree.
I think. If you have a short temper and temperature, it'll come out.
Yeah, true.
If you're a frustrated type of player, it'll come out. If you are a person who doesn't care,
it'll come out too.
Yeah, and then there are players who'll just play odds and just be like, well, the odds are this and the odds are that, and and the odds are you either win or you either lose, and those are the type of those players. They're either the ones that are going to win it all, they're the ones that are going to fold. And so it's been fun with the group of friends. I know there was a gathering. I was away at a convention, and there was another gathering for friends not far from here in Red Bank. That I missed that game, but it's the kind of thing that I enjoy. There's a lot of shit talk.
Yeah,
it's a great way.
We always have been shit
talkers. It's a great way to really just rib your friends in funny ways. And there was a couple of times though where we got way too serious with stuff, where it got oddly not personal. I won't say it got personal, but it just went weird for a time. And this was like way early on. We had a point system and stuff, and this is before like even like WSOP had a a point system.
True. But you have to understand, when you get a bunch of creative people together, I mean, you've got actors, comedians, you've got radio people, and you got friends of this who understand you. It brings out the competitive juices in everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's what happened. It was like, I don't think anybody was intentionally trying to be a dick. I think it was just one of those, we all got competitive, and this is what happened. Oh.
But there were some dicks in there.
There were. Not going to say it.
There were times where I was a dick. I'm not going to.
Hey, look, I'm guilty too.
I'm going to admit to that.
Yeah, so would I. Absolutely.
So, it's the type of thing where it is what it is. Speaking of, it is what it is.
Oh, no, another one?
I have another friend who just wants to say hello to you. If Ming has a second here, we're going to get to our second to last. You have only two more left. So one more here if you can get to.
Yo, Rob, what's going on, man? I know you have a great guest on today's show, Mr. Brian O'Halloran, but it is a very special show. It's your 100th episode. I felt like you deserved a clerk for each 0. Hence, here I am. And according to that math, it'll be another 900 episodes before you have to have Elias on, so you're doing well. Look, man, I know you called this thing the A game just to preclude you from having to have me on as a guest, but I found a way to get on here anyway. All right, listen, Rob, congratulations. Keep up the good work. And when you're ready to do your spinoff podcast called The D Game, you know where to find me. Peace out.
There you go. The one, the only Mr.
God.
Jeff Anderson.
Very nice.
You're welcome.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and I would love to have Jeff on at some point. Wow. Honestly, that one I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Do you know how hard it is for him to get his squirrel-powered generator up on his mountain to get enough electricity and bandwidth to even get this message to me?
Yeah, I was about to say, he's somewhere in the mountains of California.
Yeah, at first he's like, I can smoke signal this to you. Like, I don't think he has smoke signal. Like, you got to get on that thing called your phone and send one in. Come on.
Oh, I got to ask, what's it been like being on the road with him? Because you're kind of falling off the log and the old act comes back together, but this is different. It's gone beyond the filming. You've been on the road a lot over the last year plus with him.
You know what's been really great now? I've known him now. It'll be 30 years next year.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, actually, it's 30 years this year because we filmed it in 93. So technically, it's already been 30 years. Mm-hmm. But what's been sad and good at the same time. It's been sad that he's been living on the West Coast. Right. I've been living on the East Coast most of the years.
Right.
So we don't really get to see each other. We'd have the occasional emails to each other or even a phone call or two.
Right.
And then if there was a meeting of some sort in LA that we got together. But for the most part, what's been great is because of that lack of connection all those years, these past couple of years of being on the road has been genuinely a super, super fun time.
Glad.
It's developing the friendship deeper and better than it's ever been. It's a lot of fun. We know, especially when we do our Q&As, we know how to set each other up for jokes. We know how to bust each other's balls in a very cool way that the audience feels like they're a part of it. But also learning just his personal likes and dislikes, and we know what kind of food we other likes. Mm-hmm. We know what we like to drink. So if someone gets to the bar first, there's already a drink waiting for the other one, which is always a good start. He really is like a hetero life mate in a certain way.
Yeah.
He's a cast member, as well, but he's a friend first.
Yeah. And
it's been really, really awesome getting to share the road with him. We've been able to be at shows where it was massively crazy busy, like a MegaCon in Orlando. And then we've been to shows that have been absolutely death. There have been nothing there, but we entertain ourselves about it. And we don't let the other one come, get down on anything and stuff like that. So we're always there to help each other. We texted each other yesterday he's a big Denver Broncos fan.
I did not know that.
Correct. He's been that for a long time, since he lived here in Jersey.
Wow.
He named his first dog Elway. That's how much of his email still has Elway in the name. So I wished him luck yesterday before the Jets game, even though I don't care what's going to happen. They're not making it to the Super Bowl.
That's over.
Yeah, and so someone's going to make that into a GIF. I know.
That's going to be you know it.
But at the same rate, like I wished him well, good luck, and he wished me good luck, and and at the end of the game, I said, look, it was a game of who was going to make the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it was. Who made the one more mistake than the other one? Because we all both teams were making horrible mistakes. There were big plays for each team, and then there were just multiple bad plays for each team. So that being said, we kept in touch that way. We'll talk about we both own Subarus, we both both live up in the mountains. We both have a lot of snow where we live.
Right.
He's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. So we have a lot of similarities in that case. I don't have kids. He doesn't have a kid. So it's that kind of thing where we get along really great. And then when Diana and Barbara, his wife, get together, the two of them are like twins in a sense, because she loves, Diane, as you know, loves to talk, and also Barbara loves to talk. So when we were there for the premiere in LA, they were inseparable, the two of them. It was really a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see how they are on the cruise coming up in February.
Absolutely.
And before we go, because I see the clock here, and you were like, we're going to try to keep this to a tight hour.
No, if we go over, I don't give a crap. I mean, before you go there, I do want to say one thing about Jeff.
Sure.
And you remember this moment, and it's the last time I saw Jeff, and unfortunately, and it's poignant that I bring up Lisa Spoonhour, because Brian, I, and Jeff were at the funeral. Chris Sessions, I can't even say the word at this point. And I got a nice hug from Jeff, and I could see the friendship was still, even though you guys hadn't talked in a while, just to see you two back together. I mean, unfortunately, under the worst set of circumstances.
Yeah. When Lisa Spoonhour passed away, it was soul crushing. I'm not going to lie. She was such a sweet and generous and giving individual.
Amen.
So that when I saw Jeff when he flew in from the West Coast for her funeral here in Freehold, New Jersey, and seeing him, I'm not going to lie. I was upset that this was the reason why, but it was so nice to see him. And I think he felt comfortable seeing me there and you there, because it was a familiar, the familiarity of it all.
Sure.
And it's so funny because Lisa's daughter is literally a carbon copy of her. She's this beautiful, witty, takes no crap kind of woman. So it's good to see that genetics passed down, because we do miss Lisa, especially when we made Clerks III. We definitely miss Lisa there.
Her daughter says to me at the whole thing, she's like, Rob, don't you dare cry. Lisa would kill you if you're crying right now. And she was right.
Yeah.
It says
to the very end, she was never of like, hey, how are you? She never was like, could you do something for me? It was always like, what could I do for you?
And considering the condition and the stuff she went through, she was always that way.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Rob, what do you need?
Yeah.
Come on. And she was saying with you and Jeff, I mean, just, our hearts go out to the family and me.
But it was nice seeing, to Lisa. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was nice to see Jeff come out for that.
Oh, absolutely. And next time I see Jeff, it'll be under much better, seeing him right now.
Apparently one of your shows, because he said he's going to get himself on here.
Absolutely.
But before we do go, we do have one more final guest.
I'm afraid to ask how do you top Anderson and Gigliotti?
Well, you'll see.
Hey kids, it's me, Kevin Smith, in my mom's bathroom. Just got a picture of me and my wife in her bathroom closet. Here in my mom's bathroom, expressly to deliver this message of congratulations to Rob Acampora for 100 episodes of the A Game with the aforementioned Rob. Take it from a guy who knows a thing or two about podcasting. Getting to 100 episodes is huge. Doing 100 of anything is huge. You'd probably be on like jerking off. What have you ever done 100 times, like in your life, with passion? Not like brushing your teeth and shit, but like that's huge. So congratulations, fellow oralist. Use your mouth to make people happy. Well done.
There you go. That's the compression from because literally as we were on the air is when he sent this to me.
Oh wow!
To then which I then forwarded it to Ming's phone. So the compression of the video is pretty much what made that do that, because see, that's what the real audio is. So it's not, Kevin is not ill.
Me and my wife in her bathroom closet.
Yeah.
Here in my mom's bathroom, expressly to.
And there you go.
Hey kids, it's me, Kevin Smith, in my mom's bathroom. Just got a picture of me and my wife in her bathroom closet. Here in my mom's bathroom, expressly to deliver this message of congratulations to Rob Acampora for 100 episodes of the A Game with the aforementioned Rob. Take it from a guy who knows a thing or two about podcasting. Getting to 100 episodes is huge. I mean, doing 100 of anything is huge. I mean, you probably, beyond like jerking off, what have you ever done 100 times, like in your life with passion? You know, not like brushing your teeth and shit, but like that's huge. So congratulations, fellow oralist, using your mouth to make people happy. Well done.
That's amazing.
Just so that
that's amazing.
People don't start getting on. Hey, is he sick? Does he? have the
right.
COVID?
Exactly.
It's just it's technology and what happens when video gets compressed.
You shocked me tonight. Why am I not surprised? You.
By the way, maybe 3 of those people have been on my show. Just so you know.
I know.
I haven't had Jeff.
Not yet. That's true. You haven't had Jeff yet.
I haven't had Kevin. So
how have you not had? Well, still time. You got to have Kevin on the O'Halloran at some point.
Maybe I'll have him on the boat.
There we go. As we wrap up, give me a couple photos here. We'll start with photo 13. If you want to go on the cruise, cruiseskew.com. It is going to be 4 fun days heading out from Miami to Nassau, Bahamas. Brian's podcast, The O'Halloran, will be a part of this. Jeff Anderson will be DJing on the cruise. We've got a lot of other fun things, so definitely check out the website and get your spot on the boat while you have the chance. And speaking of The O'Halloran, when is that going to start up again officially?
I'm waiting for a new computer.
Okay, that's there you go.
I'm not going to announce, but I think I found a sponsor for my computer, which is always great.
That always helps, yeah.
So, because since my last season to this new season, I've moved houses.
Yes, that's true.
So I moved to a different house and then setting it up. I've been on other people's podcasts in the new place. So it's all good to go, but just to get everything just toot sweet,
I get you.
I wanted to get a new computer. I reached out via the interwebs to the general fandoms and be like, hey, what's a computer company that should I work with? And one reached out to me. So they were really cool about it. So once I get into technical specs, hopefully I'll have one done within a month or so. They're going to decorate it like crazy. They've done other computers from other celebs. I'm not going to say them just yet because I'll say it on my own show. But they're a really great company, and I hope to get that soon. So look for that and more to come.
I'll wrap it up this way, not only because you can get Clerks on Amazon Prime, but little story. Brian and I have known each other for 29 freaking years. And I remember there were times we'd be talking in the first few years. And it'd be something like this. We even said, we can picture ourselves getting old, being out on a porch somewhere, just rocking and just reminiscing about a lot of the things that we went through. Whether it be a baseball game, shooting pool in Red Bank, having the experience of seeing you two at Irving Plaza. You know, we had some adventures. We still are having adventures.
More to come.
Absolutely. But thank you.
Oh, cheers,
for
sir.
everything. 29 years, and God, may there be more. To Ming Chen and A Shared Universe for giving me the chance to get this started 3.5 years ago. There is more to come as well. But thank you for tuning in for the 100th episode of the A Game. That's a wrap. I'm Rob Acampora. Thanks to Brian O'Halloran. Thanks to Ming Chen. Hey, I'll see you soon, probably in the next couple weeks. Take care of yourself. Cheers.